الله في القرآن الحكيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Before I revert to my speech or discussion, can I, mashallah, this is a happy occasion, we all have gathered, but Yazid has not stopped, as we know. And only a couple of days or few days back, as we know what happened in Saudi Arabia. And other parts of the world, obviously, it happens, but it has broken hearts of a lot of people. So can I request all of us to remember those shuhada with Surah Fatiha and
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim.
اللهم صل على محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
It was an honor, this is what I said, because obviously he's an older brother, my inspiration all my life. But obviously, believe you me, he exaggerated a lot. Please don't say about him. I have got some heads, but one of the heads which I have, and this is why you will understand some of my discussion, I speak to a lot of youths. I was a principal of, I started in Madrasa, I wrote the syllabus of Madrasa, but I spoke a lot of youths in London, especially the EPSOC meetings, which is in societies. I was involved with Imam Hussain blood donation campaigns and Islamic Human Rights Commission and things. And one of my jobs is to speak to the youths to understand where they are, what they're understanding, and to start some projects based on that. So first thing first, that means I don't do speeches as much as I do discussion.
MashaAllah.
So when I'm speaking, you might actually not find that hararat or temperature which actually sometimes comes from the speech, but I will be trying to communicate with you, have to have some connectedness. So I will be speaking to you, and I'll be speaking to you, all of you.
MashaAllah.
And
MashaAllah.
please bear with me on this. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The first thing about speaking to each other is we sit near to each other, don't we? So can I ask you to come near to me so that I can speak to you properly? Please move forward while reciting Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And especially when we are speaking to youths, mashallah, lots of them are here. I will ask ourselves, and first and foremost myself, we are here to remember our audience. We are in the month of Shaban. So when a significant wali of us, especially our Imam al-Muttaqeen, Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he instructs us something, how do you think that we should respond to that? If he's instructing of us something, do you think we should take it seriously, or just it's a pie in the sky and we should just ignore it? I have got a strong feeling that all of you will say that this is something almost incumbent on us. If he's instructing of something. So one of the inspirations I have from him when he spoke to me, when I'm saying me, I'm sure he's speaking to you as well. He spoke to all of us. When they speak, they are not speaking like they spoke 1400 years back and that was left there. They actually have given us some policy statements. And when they do that, they really speak to you and me. So when Imam Ali, Mawla Ali alayhi salam,
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
When he said, and I will paraphrase just in order to save time, he said, don't try to teach your children like you were taught.
MashaAllah.
Because they are created for a different time. He's giving us right instruction.
MashaAllah.
So the duty is incumbent on us to develop our skills to understand what language he will understand or you will understand. And when they will understand those topics and those teaching mechanisms we need to bring in. We have had these discussions quite often that there seem to be a disconnectedness. I can speak from where I come from, which is south of England. Sometimes we talk about there's a disconnectedness because of the speaker and our teachers and the children and the youths. Why? Are we trying to teach them the same teaching mechanism and teaching methods and teaching topics which we were taught? Their emotions are even different. I'll tell you an example. We talked about me being palliative care. Those who do not know palliative care will understand this is the end of life care. When the patients are dying, we actually sometimes see the families grieving with each other. And one thing which I see time and again, that say there are 3 sisters or 3 brothers of the same family, parent is dying. All of them have got different reaction. Why? Do they love less? Or do they love differently? It's just a matter of emotion is different. Challenge is for us to understand that emotion for our children and actually gauge it like that. When they are living here, they adopt to the outside influence. And what will that influence? Let's discuss that with the salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So many of the things which I will say might be my seniors, they will think it's very, very basic. But the reason it is basic because I have spoken to youths and I have always taken some influence from our scholars or most importantly Quran and Hadith. So many of it is a mixture of all of that. This is the month of Shaban, isn't it? Shaban is the month of Waliya. Waliya Allah, right from the beginning. And like I was saying earlier, that Allah has got this special connection with Imam Hussain.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
If you look at it this way, the month he is born, no other Masum died.
Wow.
And the month where he actually passed away, he was martyred, no Masum was born. There is no date of happiness. That is the connection. Quite often, and I will go quickly, our brothers, when we speak to them, quite often they will say, oh, you raise Ali or Imam so much, you raise them more than the prophets. I say, no. Maulana Azhar Zaidi, he passed away when I was still a child, so I have only read the books of his speeches. This is a fantastic point he made. He said the problem is that, speaking to our brothers, he said, you see Nabi from your eyes and you see Ali from our eyes.
Wow.
That is when we think that Ali is higher than Nabi because you have brought Nabi so much lower. If you want to really interpret, then put them together. You see, wow, then only you will understand how actually we are speak not just about Prophet, but in Allah as well. How do we look at his book? How do we actually take inference from it? So I actually recited it, and I will actually look at that from the youth size, but also look at the concept of Wilayat. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So when he is asking us in this month, this ayah, which I take the inspiration from Surah Maida, which is the chapter 5. Now for our young children, and they will understand, when you recite Quran, you see in the Quran, you see some Makki surah and some Madani surah. 1400 years down the line, why do you need to understand which is Makkah versus Madani? Isn't it? That's boring. But there's a huge message in that. Our scholars, when they were looking at it, they said, well, actually, when you look at Makki, you will see what was the prelogue of the whole discussion which was going to come about Islam. When you come to Medina, and those surahs were revealed, there are a lot about instructions. Maida is a Madani surah. The rules are being laid now. And if the rules are being laid, how do you listen to that? This particular verse, 55, what do we famously call it? The ayah Wilayat. When I speak to youth, when I said about their emotions, let's understand them. And I actually when they say this, then I actually say to them, what you also have to understand, the youths. It's an Urdu share, I will recite and then move on. Allama Iqbal said, अपनी मिल्लत पर क़यास अक़वाम मग़रिब से न कर। अपनी मिल्लत पर क़यास अक़वाम मग़रिब से न कर, ख़ास है तरकीब में क़ौम रसूल हाशिम। So our youths should actually take pride in that. We need to go beyond. They want to interpret again with the eyes of the West. No. Hang on a second. It's the argument. Let's go to the topmost dalil which we can find for Wilayat. Not just, we have got lots of, I'm sure all of us have heard. But if we want the topmost, let's ask Allah, the Holy Almighty Himself. By with the salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
In Surah Maida 55, Innama walikum Allah wa rasuluhu wa lazina. So we have heard this one many times. I will just translate that. First of all, Aga is sitting there and he will understand me, he will catch me if I'm saying something wrong about the grammars. In Arabic and Quran, we see inna. If somebody could remind me, what does inna mean? Like, very indeed, isn't it? But what does innama mean then? What's the difference? No. Inna ma is a question. Ma abudullah la ta'budun, like what mean? So when you add it, becomes like it has become nothing but. It was verily, it was indeed. Inna ma, now there is no other thing. Just stop here. Inna ma. You will speak, and this is what we have done from scholars. So when that indeed comes, it becomes really, this is questioning, there is no other thing left. Inna ma. What indeed other than? This is the only one. So inna ma. So then it moves on to in waliyakumullah. So who is your wali? Allah. And so let's leave the wali or discussion in a second. But who is your wali? Allah. Second, Rasul. And the third, those who believe, who keep up the prayers and pay zakat in the position of ruku. Discussion is stopped there. We do not need to go much deeper. Allah has given us, first of all, we are talking about Medina. So I'm talking about youths. So I'm sure you have got millions of other dalail. When I'm talking to the youths, I'm keeping it very simple. They are not good. We will talk about Ghadir and everything we can. But let's look at Allah. Allah has given us an instruction in Medina. So not that anything is going to change. Instructions are going to come now. They are the final ones. Secondly, is using the word where there is no going back from in Nama. I'm concluding here. And who actually is in? Now, when we talk about Ghadir, how many of us have heard that there are lots of translations of word Mola? Have you heard? You must have. There is a friend, there is your Imam, Master, everything. They are. So let's not get bogged down with just that he is your Imam. Just let's talk about that. He might not be. There might be something else. You can ask him a simple question. Rasulullah did not say whoever Sarbhai is friend of, Ali is your friend. He put himself there actually. Meaning I, whoever I am, whatever I am to you, Ali is to you. End of discussion. He did not put he had these numbers go like 180,000 or whatever number of thousand. He could have said, whoever he is friend of, Ali is friend of. Who is his friend of? He said, no, just forget everybody else. It's me. Whatever you think of me, that is what Ali is. Forget about everything else. In this ayah, Allah is doing the same. He is saying, whoever I am wali of, Rasul is the wali of that, and Ali is wali of that. Let's not get any much like we find this dalil here, this dalil there, this. No, hang on a second. Let's stop there. Allah is very, very absolutely clear here. He's talking, he's saying, Ami, Rasul, and him. Just stop there. You know what? The story does not stop here. Let's go to the ayah number 56 and ayah number 57. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maybe I will skip the, if you allow me, can I skip the Arabic and just go to the translation?
Bismillah, Bismillah.
So the translation is from Shakir Ali, who's a very famous English translator. Whoever takes Allah and Rasul and those who believe for a guardian, then surely the party of Allah, he uses the word فَإِنَّ حَزْبِ اللَّهَ هُمُ الْغَالِبُونَ. The party of Hizbullah are they that they should be triumphant. Oh, you believe. The story hasn't stopped there. So we talked about Allah, Rasul and Wali and Maulali. So maybe I will get somebody else. No. Ayah 57. Oh, you believe, do not take for guardians those. In a very continuity, Allah has warned you. Do not take for guardians those who take your religion for a mockery. Remember Khanda. Kullu iman wa kullu kufr. Whoever comes in front of Ali will be mocking the religion. Do not take for guardians those who take your religion for a mockery and a joke from among those who were given the book before you and the unbelievers, and be careful of Allah if you are believers. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
To me, the argument has finished. Allah has clearly said in Quran, this is the month of Shaban and we will be going in month of Ramadan. Holy Prophet declared, this is my month. And the next month, Ramadan, is the month of Allah. There's something very interesting here as well. When Holy Prophet said that, then actually means let's connect with Quran. Let's connect with Allah. And let's connect with each other. Why would he say that? What does the word Shaban itself mean? The word means segregation. If you read the books of the history, they will talk about that Shaban was named even before Islam as a month, because the Arab used to scatter around to find food and things. Islam interestingly kept that name. And ulama write that this is the month of segregating ourselves from the world and going towards the month of Allah. So when we are doing that, we should take some inspiration from Quran itself. So maybe I'm getting a bit boring there. But this is Quran we are talking about. So I will ask you, kindly introduce me as a doctor. Now tomorrow, you will find out that actually I don't work as in a hospital or hospice or wherever. You will say, what kind of doctor are you? You should stop calling yourself a doctor. Isn't it? Now there are different words in Arabic which refer to the same conclusion. Can I ask again a question? As I said, I'm talking, so please be ready to be put on the spot. What does the word Quran mean? Can anybody come on?
Something which is red.
Something which is read. If we do not read it, it does not stay Quran actually.
Subhanallah. MashaAllah.
So you and I have got a duty. It's up for us to make Quran Quran. Otherwise, Allah could have used the word just kitab. He has used the word kitab many times. Kitab is one which is written. Or Musaf, one which has got pages. But he made it very really for us by saying, you should call it Quran. So it is, whose responsibility is it when he used that word? This is us, isn't it? Salawat from Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
When we are talking again, going back to the youths very quickly for a second, the youths, we have got Islam in, which I see sometimes with ulama, we use a triangle. We acquire knowledge, we develop that into the love. If you do not know someone, how would you love them? So that is how we get to know our book, our holy personalities. And that is when we start loving them. And we love them, then the third aspect comes, which is the obedience. So we actually get into the discipline of following day-to-day salat, fasting. All of that before that, let's go to the Makki Surah now. Makki Surah, Surah Baqarah, Ayah 51. Translation. And this concept has been repeated many, many times in, I just made the number here, 17 times, 14 verses in 10 different surahs. This is the concept. So why did Holy Prophet come in the first place? He could have stayed there, Allah could have just sent a book, and all of us could become Muslims. No. Translation. Just as we have sent among you a messenger from yourselves, reciting to you our verses, Allah is talking about our verses, and purifying. The phrase which is used is Yutlu alaykum ayatina wa yuzakkikum wa yu'allimukum al-kitaba wal hikmah. So Allah has sent him to teach us the verses, to purify us.
MashaAllah.
So duty is on us. If we do not want to fail him, if we want to remember that we have to get ready for it. And what do I say to the youth? We do not know what 12th Imam's army is going to be like. We know we have got some signs, but we have not seen them, have we? But we have seen Karbala.
Subhanallah.
These are the purified ones.
Wow. Wow.
Who actually
MashaAllah.
took that message and purified themselves so much that on the day of Ashura, they could stand up.
Subhanallah.
Ibrahim Ayati writes a very interesting thing. He says, we get very sorry and very saddened. Only 72 or so, I don't want to go to the purity, but 72, famous word number. Only 72 people. He says, logic, if you look at from the worldly logic, how come 72 people? They knew they were going to be annihilated next day. And they could stand up. Because they were the purified.
Wow. MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
When our Imam comes, he is looking for those people. So if we do not read Quran, if we do not purify ourselves, how is he going to look at us?
Wow.
Brother Ali decided that actually जब इमाम आएंगे, then सभी मार खाएंगे. That let's hope that at least we are not in one of them. We really, Ayatollah Taqi Bahjar, he actually says quite often, quoted from him, he said, we love Ghaib Imam, but when the Hazir Imam comes, we all run away. Because that has happened in the history, hasn't it? So all of you, first and foremost I'm talking about me, will I be standing there? What can I do to make sure that I will be standing there on that day? Salawat. Because again, this is not an easy thing, it's a weighty thing. And when the weight comes, even the prophets actually ask for help. Again, I will go back to Quran. Prophet Musa in Surah Taha, oh my Lord, this is a very heavy weight, please help me. Surah Anbiya, verse 112. Holy Prophet, Allah is saying that about Holy Prophet, Rabbuna Rahmanul Musta'an, that he will need help. Holy Prophet.
Wow.
And now, I need us to remind ourselves, who was the help of Holy Prophet? Do I hear an Nara Hedri?
Nare Haidari!
And this is what Ali is. This is what Wilayat is. We borrowed that concept of Wilaya from Quran. We can actually find evidence from Hadith. But please, when we talk to our children, we go to the holy book very clearly. We have got very clear instruction. Nothing goes after that. Then we can put some more evidence which we have got plenty of. We can talk about Khandaq, we can talk about Uhud, we can talk about Khaybar. But most important thing, if the one who has created the world and you and me, if he is giving us an instruction, where is the running away from that?
Subhanallah. Beshak Akbar.
Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So how do we train our children for that? Here I borrow a concept from Shaheed Murtaza Mutahari. Murtaza Mutahari, as you know, that actually was a great person in the the time of revolution of Iran. He actually talks about this concept that Holy Prophet actually did preach by two ways. And he said, well, actually, you can do by anzar, by actually telling people that there can be some bad things happen to you, or basharat, which is good news, glad tidings. But he actually says this interesting thing that Holy Prophet was nazir, but not mukhawwaf, that he was not frightening them. There's a difference between the two. And because what he talks about, he said, well, actually, if you frighten the, I'm talking about us as well, that maybe us grown up or children, if we keep on frightening them all the time, they will adopt what he used the word tanfir. They will just farar. They will just run away from it. They will escape from it. There has to be a balance when you talk about Nazar as well. And how do he control it? In his book he writes about a hadith which Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to his famous companion Jabir. He said, "O Jabir, Deen Islam is Deen Mateen. Be kind on yourself as well." So he's talking, when Jabir was asking him, how do I get inspiration to stay on Islam? He said, be kind to yourself.
Wow.
Some people think that by punishing themselves and hard acts, they will get to their destination. Verily they are wrong. That's an interesting, isn't it? Because we actually feel that actually if we push ourselves so many things and everything, then we will get more. Holy Prophet is actually inspiring us to do bit by bit by bit. And he actually in that hadith, it's a long one, in which he actually uses the example, Holy Prophet. It's a hadith sahih, it's in all the books. He says, well actually, you know what? It is like a person who is riding a horse and is whipping it all the time. What will initially happen? It will run really, really fast. But before it gets to the destination, it will get tired.
Yeah.
So you need to pace your horse.
Subhanallah.
Oh Jabir,
Subhanallah.
don't become that horse.
Wow.
Pace yourself accordingly. And this is what, when we are speaking to children and youth, this is my experience. I'm sure you have got more experience than I have. But when you are talking, they need some inspiration. They need some liking towards you. Sometimes their topics. Sometimes the topic, I remember actually once sitting very recently in the madrasa, I always open the discussion by, come on, tell me what happened in the last week. And I will tell you something at 9. Many of you might not even know this. They said, can you tell us about Momo? Now, how many of you have heard of this? Momo, the computer thing. 1, 2, 3 people. For children, it was a huge thing. I had to go and research on it and come back and talk in order to engage them. And tell you what, next week they were quoting me as like I was telling them about that hadith, about that. But that gave me a platform to talk about fake news and the lies which happen around. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Thank you very much for staying engaged with me on this youth matter.
MashaAllah.
The last part which I just try to do is remind ourselves as grown-ups is in a few days' time we will be approaching the month of Allah.
MashaAllah. Ramadah.
I mean, and when we are approaching the month of Allah, who better to ask the question to prepare for it than the greatest of all human beings, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Just a couple of years before Holy Prophet passed away, he was asked, and he actually recited something which is famously known in the history as Khutbah-e Shabaniya.
MashaAllah.
And if I will not take much of your time, but there are some themes we can look at in his speech which talk about Khutbah of Shaban to prepare for the Ramadan. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
He opened up that khutbah by a very beautiful line. And I don't think maybe I am talking about me, you may have done that, but I never looked at my Ramadan like that. And when I read that, it says, "O people," he's introducing the month. It's a month of barakat, rahmat, and maghfirah. It is approaching. It is better than all the months.
MashaAllah.
Its days are better than all the days. Its nights are better than all the nights. Its moments are better than all the moments. And what is he saying? This is the month, and this is a very eye-opener for me. This is the month where you are invited by Allah for ziyafat.
Wow.
Meaning you are staying hungry,
Wow.
but actually Allah has invited you for that.
Wow.
Now, if the brother invites the other brother to go to their home and they say, "I'm not coming, I'm not bothered." This is how much more. Allah is actually opening the doors. That's it. Come on, here I am.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
where better food
Wow.
to get from than Allah?
Wow.
Very
MashaAllah.
clearly giving the best invitation. You are the guest in the month of Karamat.
Subhanallah.
Now, my scholars have told us that we are talking about Rahma, but they were talking about Karama. What is Karam? And the difference between the Karam and other blessings is, Karam is the blessing which is offered and which is given to you without even asking.
Subhanallah.
That's what only Allah can do.
Wow.
This is the Karam He actually provides us. So this is the month, even if you didn't want it, Allah is actually so Rahman, He's actually
Wow.
giving it to us,
Will give.
showing in front of you.
Wow.
So what do? Your every breath is a tasbih, your sleep is ibadat.
Subhanallah.
So ask Allah in this month with pure and true intentions and clean hearts, that He gives you the encouragement to fast again and to read Quran. This is a month of connecting with Quran. I always will say to my youths that actually just read one page with translation. That will be enough. And obviously there are some surahs which are very good translation wise and they can learn a bit more. And all of us can learn more. Will always. We might want to finish the whole Quran, and this is very good, fantastic thing. But what did I learn from it?